Tape www.suividécole-au-sénégal.com. À École au Sénégal, c'est facile, tu n'as qu'à te connecter. Tape École au Sénégal, les leçons sont beaucoup plus détaillées.
Okay, and so now we're going to have a little exercise that we can mix and match, you know, from what we have gotten, if we can mix and match. And so they're all mixed up, so we can match them. So a single family house, so where would it fall? We have to look for, you know, the answer depending on our definition. So a single family house would be what? If we hear it's a free-standing home, you know, residential building, you know, that shares no wall with any other building. Homeowners own the building. So they're free, it's a freestanding homes, you know, residential buildings. Residential means that you live there. It's only for living with family. It's not a business. That's what it means that it's only residential. When you hear someone say, oh, it's strictly residential, it means it's strictly for family, not for business or any other kind of thing. You know, some people don't love to rent out or to get homes, you know, as a business. And so a single family will go here. So it's a freestanding home residential building that shares no wall with any other building. It stands on its own. It shares no wall. And then someone that owns it is called a homeowner. So if you own a home, you're called a homeowner. C'est-à-dire, tu as une maison, quoi. Ça t'appartient. It means a homeowner. I own homes. J'ai des maisons, so it's on the building, it stands by him. And then semi-detached building. I told us that semi-detached is a building that stands on its own, but shares just a wall. It shares just one wall with the neighbor. So it's going to be a single family dwelling that shares one common wall, unlike townhouses that share from both sides. So it's a single family house. Single means it stands on its own, but the only difference is it has a neighbor on one side of it, not on both sides. So that is a semi-detached. It means it's almost, because it's a semi-detached, it means it's almost. And then multi-family. Well, let's go on homes on wheels. Homes on wheels, where you know that wheels means it's mobile, so it goes to a mobile home. Often not permanent. It's not permanent. Today they could be here, tomorrow they could be Chess, the next day it could be Tambakunda. So they're not really permanent, you know, it just depends on where business takes them or where they decide to go. And then they say a single unit inside of a building structure, and it has a tenant-landlord kind of relationship. And I said a tenant, c'est locataire, a landlord, c'est bailleur ou baillesse. And I told you all that the agreement that you sign is called a lease agreement, you know. And so if it's a single unit, it's just a unit. Unit means it's just a, you know, a building, an apartment or so inside of a building. And so that would become an apartment. Remember, an apartment is a single unit. And of course, apartments could be a studio, it could be a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom. So apartments come in different shapes and sizes, okay? And then the next one is a multi-floor homes with your own entrances, bathroom, etc., and share 2 walls with neighbors. 2 walls with neighbors. So what would that be? A multi-floor homes, okay? That shares, what would that be? What do you think would be? That would be a multi-floor that shares space with 2 walls. That is a townhome, because I told you townhomes are, you know, they share both walls. And then they said it looks like an apartment, but there are single units that are owned. That's a condo. Or single units, okay? It's different from a family setting. So it's a single unit, but it looks like apartments, because condos, I told you, looks like apartments, but they're owned. You bought it off the mortgage. So those are condos. And then the last one would be, it's a residential property having many housing units. Each has its own entrance and kitchen. That's a multi. So it's a multi, remember? It's a residential property. Residential, I said residential, it means that's where people stay. You know, it's residential, it's for family. So it's a residential property. Property means that it's a large or huge piece of land that people have built apartments that you see that share entrances, okay, or some condos that you see that share entrances. And so it has its own unit and has its own entrance, kitchen, etc. And so that's a multi-family. You know, that's a multi-family kind of home. And so these are some definitions that you need to know. So when you see them, you'll be able to distinguish and know what the differences are as far as homes and houses are concerned. And of course, you can even go into details to talk about the types of homes that people build. People, when you see some people, they go Victorian style, you know, they could go Tudor style. Some people have colonial styles, because back in the days you have the Victorian, which is have a particular way of building, which is like the British way. And then sometimes you go colonial. Colonial means like back in the days during the colonial masters, you see some buildings that really have, it makes you really think of the 18th centuries and so. And then of course you have the Tudor style. So people have, or even have even the French style. And so people have different styles of building your homes. It could be a single family unit, but what's the type? What's the style that you've had? Is it a French way? Does it look very Frenchy? Does it look very Victorian? Victorian means it's like a castle, you know, it looks very British. Or does it look very colonial, like back in the days of colonial masters? So you have like different styles of homes that people do build now. People even get to build in mansions, you know, and so it just all depends on your style that you like. There's a modern style as well. Modern means things have changed. They have different amenities. It's, you know, with water fountains and each room having its own bathroom, having a bathtub. Those are called, that's what they call a modern home. Like you go to the kitchen and they have kitchen aisles. Those are all modern homes. So they're all different. And people also have what they call like traditional homes, which are almost like colonial. It's another way of saying colonial homes. So there are different styles, different shapes, and different forms of homes. And then of course we have, like I said, it could be a story building, and I said story buildings are les maisons en étage. They're called story buildings with multiple floors. And then of course the floor level says ce qu'on appelle le rez-de-chaussée, and then you start from the first floor to the second floor. And then of course you have what I said, the basement, and then you have the attic, which is en haut, qui est le grenier. It's called attic, the attic. I'm just going to write it right here so you can see it. Attic, c'est le grenier. And then you have basement, qui est le sous-sol. And then you have the different aspects of home, you know, that we're going to look at probably later. So I hope that this helps. I hope that it gives you an idea about the different kinds. So if someone asks you, so what kind of home do you live in, you should be able to identify it looking at some of this. And thank you.